Welcome to another episode of the Bible Toolbox. I'm Lydia.
And I'm Luke, and we're here to help you enjoy the Bible through the tools that scholars and programmers have created for you.
And what tool do we have today?
Today, we're going to talk about commentaries.
Commentaries.
So commentaries are commentaries. You know, they make comments. You have the Bible, and then commentaries make comments on the text, explaining it, interpreting it for you.
Okay. So I have a study Bible here that we've been talking. We've already talked about study Bibles.
Yep.
And we have a commentary here.
Yes.
What is the difference between a study Bible and a commentary?
So a study Bible is shorter. So it contains the biblical text, and that's the main focus.
Okay.
And then there's small comments, usually like a sentence or two, maybe on a verse.
Okay.
Okay. Where a commentary is
it's very big.
Much more big. Like this is almost twice as big as the study Bible. And it's only over Acts, Romans, and 1 Corinthians.
Okay.
That's it.
So this whole book
is
on a book that's on what, 15, 16 chapters and 20 chapters and so there's lots.
And so it goes through every verse. Often the scholar does their own translation and they explain it.
Wow.
There's different features of different commentaries, but just think study Bible like times 10, right?
And it's normally like one book is over one book of the Bible normally.
It depends.
Okay.
So like this one has 3 books in it.
Are all of them written by the same scholar?
Not in this one. No.
Okay.
A different scholar for each one.
Okay.
There are some commentaries that are whole Bible commentaries. There are many that are just single book ones.
Which makes sense. Like scholars dedicate so much of their study to like, I'm a scholar of Romans, so it would make sense that I would write a commentary on Romans. Okay.
Okay. So first question is why even use this commentary?
Yeah, why are they important? Why are they helpful?
So just imagine you can go back in time and let's say even, before the 300s when Christianity is still trying to make its way in the Roman Empire. And let's say you can find a Christian during that time. And this is during one of the worst waves of persecution. Okay. And you can go and find a Christian during that time. Okay. And let's say this Christian learned Hebrew from Jewish rabbis of that time, like 250-ish, okay. AD. And let's say this Christian was really meticulous and really wanted to figure it out. And he, lined up column by column the Hebrew and the Greek and all of the translations of his day and was really careful to figure out what the correct text was and figuring out the interpretation and so on. Wouldn't it be kind of cool if, you could talk to that person, see their interpretation of the Bible and how that spurs them on to faith and encouragement during a time of like intense political stress?
Yeah.
Well, that Christian exists.
Oh yeah?
Origin of Alexandria.
Okay.
And he's one of the first Christians who learned Hebrew and one of our first commenters on the Bible.
And his commentary still exists?
And you can find his commentaries, yes.
Really?
Yep. A lot of them aren't translated, but that's kind of like several are, though. Many are.
Okay.
But that's kind of like it's not taking the place of the Bible, but it's like good to hear out these people. We have commentaries all throughout Christian history, from scholars like Origen to the present day, who have devoted their lives to preserving the Bible for us, interpreting, helping us understand what God has given to us.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do we find these commentaries? And can't wait to hear more.
So we're going to talk just about all these commentaries.
Okay.
So first one, which commentaries?
There's lots of them.
There are thousands, millions probably of commentaries out there.
On some of the same books, a lot.
Yeah. And many of them are not any good.
Shoot.
So some principles for finding a good commentary.
Okay.
These are just to keep in mind. And not every commentary there will be some good commentaries that don't necessarily hit every principle or, so these are just generic principles that I think are helpful for as you're looking at a commentary or a speaker or a writer or whoever to keep in mind.
Okay.
Okay.
What are these 4 principles to think about?
So the first one is accountable. So this is like all research, has the stamp of peer reviewed, right?
Okay.
And that's just, this is something that's been looked over by experts in the field. Like if I'm going to write, let's say I'm going to write an article on, I don't know, like bats in North America. I know nothing about bats in North America, but my professor at my community college that I went to was an expert in bats. If I was going to go and try to figure out about bats, I would go to him, right? I would check my source with somebody in that field who can check my work.
You're not just allowing yourself to say anything. It has to actually be like helpful and true.
Yeah.
And you go to people who have known it more than you to see if it's helpful and true.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And the second one is exhaustive. What I mean by that is they're not leaving out details.
And like trying to sway you by not telling you things.
Right.
Okay.
So they're giving you everything that you need to know and presenting it straightforwardly. Okay.
Okay.
Best they can. Everyone's going to be selective to some extent, but and third one is it should be by an expert, if at all possible. That's not always possible, but somebody who has spent considerable time in the languages, in history, in whatever it is. Right?
The expert of Romans should be writing a commentary on Romans.
Yeah. Yep.
Ideally.
And the fourth one, this is the one that especially is hard to do sometimes because, we're current, right? But time tested. So if there is a commentary that has lasted hundreds, thousands of years or so on, and is still useful today, there's probably there's truth there. It's proven itself out in time that we should consider and hear it today.
Yeah. I mean, if it's lasted for that long, it should probably be good.
Yeah. So we'll go over, okay. So now some commentaries we're going to go over here that I think hit all 4 of these or are good representatives of good commentaries.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So there are different types of commentaries. The first one we're going to look at is non-technical. Okay. So we have technical commentaries and non-technical commentaries.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you mean by technical?
Technical. Yes. I mean something like in order to read this book, you have to kind of be an expert in Greek and Hebrew, or you have to know
for the technical ones.
For the technical ones.
So these are more lay people ones.
Yes, these are non-technical, so you can read these and not know Greek and Hebrew, not know Greco-Roman history backgrounds, or
right. So this would be a good place to start.
These are good commentaries to start with.
Okay.
Yep. And so in the commentary world, there are what are called commentary series.
Okay.
And these are, they all look the same, so they all have the same cover here. So these are the Tyndale commentaries, and these are the New International commentaries. And they all kind of look the same like this. They're all edited by the same publisher or whatever.
So they're cohesive.
Yeah. They all kind of have the same format.
Okay.
And there's kind of the same expectation for the kind of content that they cover.
Okay.
Okay. And so these 2 commentary series here, the Tyndale commentaries and the New International commentaries, are meant for non-technical. More so Tyndale House. The New International are what are called more mid-level. They're kind of a bridging in between. So these are good for pastors or somebody who's a reader or something like that. Usually like the Greek and Hebrew notes are in the footnotes, but like you can follow the comments in the text, the normal text.
So do these series include every book of the Bible?
Yes.
Old and new?
Old and new.
Okay.
Yep.
So every commentary is written by a different expert, but they're all edited and put together.
Yes.
And compiled by one.
And there's generally like an editorial board.
Sure.
And then as those scholars like die or
because it takes a long time, I'm sure, to compile all of this.
That new people are voted on or whatever who take over the series. And so like these series are consistently updated.
Oh.
Okay. So as a commentary gets out of date, like kind of like we talked about the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? So now in the Old Testament, there's going to be new information that you have to include with the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff. And so those Old Testament commentaries have to be updated. And so new scholars then will write a new commentary on whatever books and so on.
Nice. So Tyndale commentary series is good for like beginners.
They're real short too.
Oh, nice.
They're probably like 100 pages or
per
so
book of the Bible.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
100, 200 pages.
And then if you're a little more advanced, like to read, get into things, get into the nitty gritty, New International Commentary is for you.
Yep. And so I pictured here the New Testament, Tyndale New Testament commentary, New International Commentary on the New Testament, but there's also an Old Testament series of it as well, or like part of it. Yep. And so then there's technical ones, which if you're a reader, you can follow them, or a pastor or something. But these will generally be pretty hard and have a lot of excessive information that most people just don't care about. But it's the idea of like of origin, right? Sitting down and lining them all up, just leaving no stone unturned.
Right. Someone needs to be thorough.
Someone needs to be thorough. Yeah. Yes. And so these works are very, very thorough. And so there's tons of technical commentaries out there, but two of my favorite are the Word Biblical Commentary and the Anchor Bible. And so another distinction, we've talked about non-technical and technical. Another one that you're going to see, especially in the technical commentaries, is a division between evangelical and non-evangelical. And what that generally means is something like so the Word Biblical Commentary is broadly evangelical, which means all of the authors of these volumes will trust the authority of the Bible to some extent. And they'll be in line with like mainstream traditional Christianity. So believing in the Trinity, the Incarnation, the resurrection, and so on.
But I'm assuming the non-evangelical ones are not held to that assumption?
Right. They're not held to that assumption. That doesn't mean that there aren't evangelicals who write commentaries in the series. So some of them are evangelical, but not all of them. And there's a spectrum here. So it's not like they're all diehard atheists who want to destroy the Bible. There's a lot of like good-hearted. Actually, I mean, they're all like good-hearted. They're trying to understand the text.
How do you know if a commentary is evangelical or not? Does it like flat out say it?
I'll show you some websites later that will tell you about series and their features.
Awesome. So, we've got
so these are two
non-technical, and in the technical, we've got evangelical and not evangelical.
Yes.
Awesome.
And these are four of my favorites: the Tyndale, the New International, Word Biblical, and the Anchor Bible. And I think you'll find, if you look on websites and go talk to scholars and stuff, these are four commentaries that will hit the top often.
Sounds good.
And so after those are the main ones. Those are current commentaries. Those are some of the things that we distinguish between them. And so what about the online commentaries, right? So there are many online commentaries, and there are many bad online commentaries.
Free online commentaries, I'm assuming.
And so there are some that are good. And actually, a lot of commentaries online are fine for most people. Like if you just come across a weird passage and you're like, what in the world does this mean? Google it real quick, get an answer, and move on, right? So I'm not saying like never look online for anything, never trust online. But you just have to be more careful and just hold to those four principles, right? Thinking through, is there accountability? Is this person know what they're talking about, or are they just blogging, or whatever it is? But three commentaries that I think are good, reliable, that are online
and free,
time tested, especially, are John Chrysostom. So he was
not this first guy.
The first one here. So he was from Antioch. So it's hard to. So he was like in the East, a preacher, monk.
Nice.
And so he preached through the New Testament. So his name means golden mouth, Chrysostom. And so he was known for being a great preacher.
Good preaching.
And so he preached through most of the New Testament and quite a bit of the Old Testament. And we still have his sermons for free online that you can find just anywhere. If you just Google, you can find him.
So his
anywhere.
Commentary is like a compilation of his sermons.
Another one is Matthew Henry.
He has some great hair.
So he has a commentary on the whole Bible. Many people use it. It's pretty lay level, non-technical.
I've heard of Matthew Henry before.
Yeah. Pretty standard, a good place to go to if you just need to find something quick.
Okay.
And then another one is John Calvin, which, if you're not a Calvinist or whatever, that can sound scary, but Jacob Arminius himself says,
who's that?
He's an Arminian. So
Arminians versus Calvinists. It's
the big thing.
So the guy of the Arminians versus the guy of the Calvinists. Yeah. Okay.
So here's what Arminius says about Calvin's commentaries. He says, but after the reading of Scripture, which I vehemently inculcate more than anything else, which the entire Academy can testify and of which my colleagues are conscious, I encourage the reading of the commentaries of Calvin.
Whoa.
Which I extol with the greatest praise, for I say that he is incomparable in the interpretation of Scripture, and his comments are better than anything which the fathers give us. Okay, so this just shows you, does Arminius agree with Calvin?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? But you can still note a good commentary, even if you disagree with it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So Calvin was a scholar. He knew Greek and Hebrew, and he was very thorough and so on. Like he matches those 4 principles. Okay. So you can read him, gain good information, and disagree with him.
Sure.
Right. But those are three good commentaries online that you can go to that are free and so on by Christians throughout history who are generally reliable, even if you don't disagree with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Even like Chrysostom had some weird, as a monk, he basically destroyed his health through fasting.
Ooh.
It's like, I agree with fasting, but
not to that extent.
He went a little overboard.
So how do you find these commentaries online? You just Google it?
So 3 places that I think are good. The Christian Classics Ethereal Library, ccel.org. We'll put links to all these in the show notes.
Yeah. And also if you're watching the video and you go to our slideshow, which will be linked on our website as well, you can click any of the underlined headings and it will take you right to the website.
So this CCEL, you can find tons of historical ancient works and so on. So it's an easy to navigate website. You can find lots of stuff there.
Is this just commentaries that you'll find on here?
No. Like very broad range of Christian books and
they're
so
all
on.
free online?
They're all free.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. Another one is studylight.org. This also has tons of different tools and stuff, but I mainly go there for the commentaries.
Oh, so you can get to just a section that will only show you commentaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have tons of them. They have Calvin's, they have Matthew Henry, and tons of them there. Okay. Another one for really ancient is the Patristic Bible commentary. So this will get you Augustine, Jerome, Chrysostom, tons of patristic. You can just click on a book, go to a chapter, and it will list kind of the places where we have in English, free online commentaries on that chapter.
Okay, so this is very, very, very old commentaries.
Generally, very old. So those are places where you can find these free online commentaries that are generally reliable.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So you asked about how do we find out what series and stuff, and what if, I'm looking at a commentary that wasn't what I recommended here. How do I find out about commentaries? So there are guides online.
Because there's so many commentaries.
There's so many commentaries.
Helpful tips and how to know which one you're using and when to go to one, or if they're evangelical or not, or those kinds of things.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's even books. There are book guides to commentaries as well.
Okay.
But I'm going to point out 2 online guides. So the first one is BestBibleCommentaries. Great website. So what it does is you can click on any book of the Bible. So here I clicked on Matthew, and it will rank them just based off of different feedback and commentaries and whatever that they've given. And they'll give you a list of what they think are kind of the best commentaries. And so here it says number 1 is Matthew in the Expositor's Bible Commentary. So Expositor's Bible is the series. Okay. By D.A. Carson. And then down below, it gives you a summary. of it, and it even tells you kind of who D.A. Carson is and what perspective he's coming from and stuff like that.
Okay, so it just like ranks, like here are the top 10 commentaries on the book of Matthew.
It's more, I think it's like 20 or 30.
Okay.
It goes through a lot of commentaries and gives you a little blurb about what to expect.
Okay. And it tells you like kind of the level of it as well?
Okay. Yep. So like here it says,
it says readers.
D.A. Carson's Matthew volume in the Expositor's Bible Commentary series is the most well-reviewed commentary on the gospel. It is mid-level commentary. Readers don't need to know Greek to utilize it. Okay. So
that is helpful.
Yeah. So you know what to expect when you're going in.
So Best Bible Commentaries. Okay. What's the next one?
Well, in that same website, they also have a chart of all of the series. So here, this is just a picture of the first couple, but this is an extremely long chart because there's so many commentary series.
Like ever or just on Matthew?
Ever.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you can see here, like it tells you it's based off of the NASB and it's evangelical. Here it's NRSV, United Methodist, and so on. This is meant for lay people, pastors, pastors and professors, right? So this is kind of just a helpful chart giving you those main kind of distinguishing things between series.
So if you have a commentary you're looking for, it might be best to just Control F and then search for the name because it will be a huge
No, it's a very long list. Yeah. So you can scroll down or Control F to find it. Okay. So that's a really helpful chart if you're looking at commentaries.
That's so helpful.
The next website is Best Commentaries. Very similar titles there. But what's helpful with this is it comes up with this chart here.
Is this just for Matthew, it looks like?
This is just for Matthew. Okay. So actually, right above this, it gives you like the top 3.
Okay.
And gives a little blurb, kind of similar.
To Best Bible?
Best Bible Commentaries. So this one, though, it gives you a longer chart that's more compact. And over here on the side, you can actually click pastoral or technical or so on and find commentaries that are within your level or what you're looking for.
So nice. Okay.
And so you can actually click on the titles and they'll give blurbs and so on. So those two websites I think are just a great place to start for if you're studying a book of the Bible and want to go deeper, are teaching it or something like that. These are 2 places to start. If you compare both the lists, if there's overlapping ones, it's probably a good one, right? Both of them put D.A. Carson's Matthew at the top, which means it's probably a good commentary. Even if you disagree with it, it's probably a good commentary, right?
Sure.
Okay. So now you now know about commentaries, and now you know, how to find them, which commentary to use. Okay. So now, what do you use commentaries for? Okay. So I'm going to give 3 things. So the first one is commentaries are helpful because they can point out things that you've missed.
Because we're not scholars.
We don't see the Greek and Hebrew or whatever, and we can miss details. Or we're just human and we miss things, right? And so it helps to have somebody who has spent 5 to 10 years of their life or more staring at a verse, right? They can tell you a lot about it. They can tell you what you've missed. Another thing is they can point out what is important. So it's easy for us as humans to get on rabbit trails.
Or little tiny details that don't really matter.
Right. And so they can emphasize like what is necessary to know during this. And a third one is, and this is just, everyone should take note of this. They can confirm an observation. Okay. So let's say you're studying on your own and you have like, you notice something and it's like, oh, this is a really cool insight. Okay. Before you run off with that, right, and get super excited, which is great. We're here to help you enjoy the Bible.
Yeah.
But so many, especially devotional books, will latch onto like a Greek and Hebrew meaning or something. And, we'll say, oh, look at this cool insight I found, but it's just like completely off base. Okay. And if all they did was just go to one of these commentaries and read that verse in the commentary and verify their observation, they would have never, published this really embarrassing thing that just is not true at all. You know what I mean? So
Which goes back to accountable. Like
Yeah.
we are also accountable to reading the Bible accurately.
Yeah.
Before we go like broadcast our aha moments.
Yeah. And so that's where I think commentaries can be good, because we want to be established in the truth, not just some fancy of our mind or imagination, right? And so that's where I think commentaries could be used a lot more. Just a quick, commentaries are laid out so easily that you can go find the verse real quick. Just double check what you're saying. And that's only for like extravagant things. Normal, mundane things, we can all read and understand the Bible generally. But okay. All right. Where do we find commentaries? Like, where can you physically find and read them?
Okay, because we found a lot of resources to locate commentaries. Some of them were all free online, like those patristic ones and that. But then, like, I'm assuming the ones in the lists aren't just free online.
Right.
Like
D.A.
Carson's is not free online.
Right.
So where do you find D.A. Carson's commentary on Matthew?
Yes.
Okay.
So one place is Scribed, which is, it's a website. I think it's around $12 a month.
Okay.
And it actually has tons of commentaries. So you can see here, it has I just typed in Matthew commentary. You can see the New International Commentary. You can see D.A. Carson's commentary.
Nice.
Pillar is another good set. NIV application, another good series. Okay. So Scribed, generally contains a lot of a lot of commentaries that are good.
Just pay a monthly fee and then
you pay a monthly fee and you can get tons
access
of
to a ton. Okay.
Another website is Perlego. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but it's very similar to Scribed. I think it's $18 a month.
Okay.
I've seen it more with like connected with universities and stuff. So I don't exactly know the pros and cons of Scribed and Perlego. So you can look into it yourself. But again, this has tons of really good commentaries. This is only the first. It goes on. The list goes on here. Sure. But I mean, you can see the Baker Exegetical, which is a really good one. You can see the Catholic Commentary, which is a good one there too, and so on.
Lots of good commentaries.
Yep.
Okay.
Another underutilized resource.
Ooh, new one.
We're going to change the world right here. So almost every library nowadays, like even my small hometown library, has Overdrive, which is an online ebook service.
Okay.
And so here I typed in Romans commentary, and there's no commentaries on Romans that our library has on ebook.
Okay.
But you can see in Overdrive, there's all these not owned, and Overdrive has all the Word Biblical, all the Anchor, all the New International Commentary. So if you would just go find your neighbor or someone who has a library card at your library, and if you get 4 or 5 people who recommend that your library buy it, they're probably going to buy the book, And so you could, ideally get your library to buy the entire Word Biblical Commentary set.
And then you'd have it.
Yeah. And you can check it out anytime and return it and so on. And then you would do a service to your community, because now your whole community can go and read the commentary anytime they want from your personal library.
There you go.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That's a good point too, though. Like, check your library, check the online resources that your library provides, and then if not, ask your library to maybe buy some of these.
Yeah. Or even librarians are good at getting resources from other libraries as well. True. So that's another option if you're really trying to study something in depth.
Yeah, use your resources.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So another one is a theological library. So there are seminaries, Bible schools, and so on, and they have to, because of the nature of their school, have tons of commentaries and resources. And often they will have a reference section in their library that you don't need a library card. You can just walk in the library, wave and say hi, and then walk in and find the reference.
You can't take them home, though.
You can't take them home.
Leave them there.
Yeah, but you can do your work there and then go home. And the last place you can find is Bible software. Okay. So these are online programs that often have lots of commentaries or resources for studying the Bible that you can buy and purchase and so on. So probably the most popular one is Logos Bible Software or Accordance right here. Those two are pretty technical for scholars. There's some free ones like eSword and Olive Tree and so on. But those are online. You can buy more commentaries there. I mean, it's the benefit of Bible software is that, like, this is a big book.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to lug around, where you can have it all like on your phone through these software options.
Yeah. But I think for a lot of our audience who is just starting out with commentaries or not like scholars of one book, like if I buy this book, it's only 3 books of the Bible.
Right.
Or like if I'm like reading all over the place. So some of the online options might just be best to start, just to like start exploring, see which kinds you like, which kinds you don't. Just like, do you even want to read out of commentaries, like, or regularly, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. I think a study Bible is, I think, where most people what they need, right? And that, those, like, especially for atlases or, you know, place names, people, or so on, it's going to give you the most important information. But if you're like a Sunday school teacher or whatever, or are confused about a chapter or something, that's where commentaries will come in handy.
Awesome.
All right. Final exhortation and warning, though. So there's a short clip of John Piper that I saw on a Bible art course, where he warns you not to be a second-hander.
A second-hander commentary reader?
A second-hander of the Bible.
Of the Bible.
Okay. So it's easy to get fascinated with all these commentaries and so much information and stuff that you stop reading the Bible. Right? Or you get more excited about what D.A. Carson says about the Bible than what the Bible says. Right?
About the Bible.
And so ideally, commentaries are supposed to help you build up your joy in the Bible, right? They're pointing out cool things about the Bible so that you get excited about the Bible. Right? But sometimes our excitement goes the other way. We get excited about, oh, look at what all these scholars can do. We get excited about their work and their details and their ideas, right?
And we forget to apply it to our lives or apply our lives to it, and not be fascinated by what the Bible says. So just a warning there. Good warning. Don't read the commentaries, but read the Bible.
Read the Bible.
Awesome. Well, if you want to watch that video, click on it. It'll take you to the clip. It's a really good clip. I've watched it myself. So, all right. Thanks for educating us on commentaries. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bible Toolbox. All of the resources mentioned in this episode are posted on our website, thebibletoolbox.com. There you can also find out more information on how to give and support us. And we have loved all of the encouragement and feedback we've received from you. So thanks so much.